Of the course is over. Welcome to what is hopefully going to be the last class, last lecture of the term. Just wanted to repeat for the recording that some of these questions on assignment 5 have inexplicably stopped being bonuses. They were mandatory to start. I made them into bonuses, and now they're not. That was a mistake, and I will fix it soon. So let's talk about the final. It's basically going to be a really long quiz. It's scheduled for 3 hours, but in the words of Dr. Vaughn, it's meant to be not a very intimidating 3 hours. Designed to be done in 2, basically. There are going to be questions similar to the quizzes, so conceptual questions about different data structures and math properties of things, as well as short answers where you execute an algorithm and talk about the results. Like I said in that announcement for assignment 5, some of the questions on the exam will be assignment 5 themed, so make sure you know what were they called? Independent set, vertex cover, and clique are? Yeah, make sure you know these 3 things. And it certainly wouldn't hurt to commit your heap merging algorithm to memory, whatever it was. I'm going to post some practice questions. I'm quadruple checking that I'm about to open finalpractice.pdf and not final.pdf. Okay, final exam practice problems. We're good. Leaked! This document contains questions that will be like the ones on the final exam. I think that these questions are a bit harder than the ones you'll see in the final, so if you did these, I think you'll be well prepared. But also for the sake of not getting too confident, forget I just said that, assume that the exam will be way harder than this and study hard. I'm also going to post an answer key. This is kind of like another assignment, just with questions that can all be done relatively quickly. Just lots of them. So these will be posted on UMLearn shortly. Oh yeah, and the last big difference, or the last big thing about the final that I want to note is that there will be programming questions on the final. These will also be posted on UMLearn. And this question, or this this document will also be either the last or second last page of the final. The programming questions on the final will probably be pretty similar to programming questions that you've seen in past courses. You won't be expected to write syntactically perfect code. You could get the name of a method wrong and still get full marks. But it should make sense what algorithm you're trying to write. This page also kind of works as a sort of cheat sheet of the data structures you're given. You won't have to memorize any like list of operations for any given data structure. But of course, you should understand all the operations of each data structure to the point that you've basically memorized it. Yeah, your code does not have to be syntactically perfect. Another thing that'll be given to you on the final, which doesn't seem to be in a separate document. I am not going to open up Final PDF and scroll down to it, but there's going to be basically a formula sheet. You'll be given, what are they called? Something identities, summation identities. So there will definitely be a question where you have an algorithm, you need to make a cost function for it and express it as an expression that doesn't have any summation notation. You'll be given those identities that you've used on assignments and in at least one quiz for free. Similarly, this is like continuing with the theme of don't have to memorize that much, but you should still understand it. The very first question on the exam is going to be identical to something you've seen before. This guy. The definitions will be in a different order though, so like don't bother memorizing a specific string of 5 letters. But I just wanted to give you all advance warning of that to further emphasize the point that with these asymptotic notation definitions, and as with everything else, you don't really have to memorize anything, but you should understand it well enough to recognize it and work with it. Yeah? Oh, I saw you first. So there will be a question that is sort of like the asymptotic properties proofs, and you would find it easy if you memorized all the properties, but I don't think it's reasonable for anyone to memorize all those properties. So you should have an intuition of things like big theta being both big O and big omega, or little o being sort of a stronger version of big O. So you should have an intuition around things like that, but you won't have to memorize or state any properties. Yeah.
Will the final exam be similar in like to the final practice questions and the program questions put together?
Oh, I have no clue. My guess is that the practice problems are going to be longer than the exam, just because this is a lot. I think the final exam has 13 questions. I'm going to check it here. 14 questions. So I got 9 plus 6, 15. So on the surface, that makes these final practice questions be just a little bit longer than the final exam, but I think that the practice questions are still quite a bit longer than the final exam because there won't be as many programming questions. I think there are 2 or 3 programming questions on the final, definitely not 6. So I think I've said everything about the final that I wanted to point out. Does anyone else have any questions? Yeah?
So we will have to write out an asymptotic proof like we did for the quiz at the assignments?
Oh, there definitely will be a question where you prove that some function is in some asymptotic relation of another function, and it'll follow from the definition. So be prepared to do one of those. I won't tell you which asymptotic notation thing it is. So yeah, you should know how to do that, but you don't have to memorize any of the definitions. Yeah?
For the final practice, the way you're structuring the question is the way that our practice is structured. Like not the long, like not the long, the way you're asking the question.
Good question. And I think the answer is going to be mostly no, actually. The topics, of course, will be the same, but the format will be slightly different. We've already seen one way in which the format will be different, and that's that the final practice problems have many more programming questions than the exam. But still, the programming questions on the final practice are like the programming questions on the actual final. Also, there aren't any multiple choice questions on the actual final. I think these multiple choice questions on the practice are still valuable because they're getting you to review the material. But on the actual final, it'll basically, well, I was going to say it'll skip to questions like these, but it'll be more like having questions like the multiple choice, except you have to write up your answer and you have a bit of room to explain it. Also, I just realized that the multiple choice questions are all contained in one question, so it's less like having 15 questions and more like having more than 20. So I think the final practice is definitely longer than the actual final. Anything else? Well, I think we're going to end the course not just 2 days early, but about 8 minutes early. If you want to make an appointment with me for office hours, that will still be possible. Just email me when you want to see me. I just won't be in my office during the scheduled times. So I guess that's all. Thanks for a good term and good luck on the final.